all started when my old 5 Series BMW, a car I absolutely adored, was tragically totaled in an accident. With good manual E60s being difficult to come by, I needed to find something that blended comfort and dynamic handling the way my old 5er did. For that, I decided to rewind the clock and go back to my Audi roots. I thoroughly enjoyed my B8.5 Audi A4 and accomplished much of what the 5 did, albeit to a lesser extent. So I had a hunch that a newer A4 would be able to bridge the gap just fine. However, I didn't have the nearly 20 grand to spend on such a car, so I got creative and began searching IAAI. After quite some digging, I figured that the right A4 wouldn't turn up and switched my focus to Golf GTIs until fate had me stumble upon the ideal rebuild candidate. It was a well-equipped 2013 Premium Plus model and only had 57,000 miles on the clock, but most importantly, it had a 6-speed manual transmission. $5,300 later, it was all mine, and so began the teardown. There was more damage than the pictures illustrated, but it was no worry. A new radiator and core support were sourced, as well as a new intake, and soon the car started to take shape once more. Naturally, a new bumper was needed, so I took the opportunity to upgrade to the S-Line kit. Once the monsoon gray paint was laid, the trials and tribulations began to feel worthwhile. 1 year and 15,000 miles after completion, here she is.
So we're back in an A4. Now, long-term viewers may recall that a while ago I did a video on a B8 generation A4, and the car that we're in now is actually quite a bit different from that one in terms of specification, and that has quite a big impact on the way this car drives and its overall personality. First off, this car has Quattro all-wheel drive. The car I tested before was front-wheel drive. That really gives you a sort of all-weather performance aspect to the A4 that the front-wheel drive models just don't have. Also, because most of the power gets sent to the back wheels with this Quattro system, it really adjusts the personality of the car. Next, this car is equipped with the sports package. Now, what that does is give you essentially the sports suspension from the S4. The sway bars are identical. The spring and damping rates, however, have been adjusted because the A4 has less weight over its front nose because it has a smaller, lighter engine. Last but not least, this car has a 6-speed manual gearbox. The gearbox makes a world of a difference in this car. Between the gearbox and the suspension, this took the A4 from being a sort of comfortable, fun little cruiser to a car that you can really enjoy threading through back roads. So, much like my last A4, I couldn't leave this one untouched. So, in addition to the S-Line front end conversion, this one also has 19-inch wheels from an A8, a big brake upgrade from an A7, which includes dual piston front calipers, as well as 356mm rotors, a Forge Motorsports diverter valve spacer, which just adds a little bit of extra noise, and it's beta testing the new JB4 from Berger Motorsports, which is unreleased for this platform, and we're just kind of getting it dialed in. Another interesting thing is how the Quattro system works. This is one of the last Torsen-based Quattro systems, meaning that it's an all-mechanical setup. So whenever you do apply more throttle, it actually locks the center differential and sends up to 80% of the power to the back wheels. This means that you can really neutralize the car kind of mid-corner, and it dials out a little bit of the understeer. Applying more power actually does help point the car in the right direction a little bit. You'd never call it fully throttle adjustable, but the car does react positively to a little bit more throttle input. Of course, if you do get too carried away with this, it will start understeering a bit. But overall, I would say that this car has a very neutral nature to it. Now, one thing that really did aid the handling of this car are those larger wheels from the A8. In addition to having a larger diameter allowing a lower profile tire, they're also quite a bit wider than the stock wheels and have a wider offset. Because the car has a wider footprint on the road, it actually rolls a little bit less into the corners, making the suspension operate a bit more efficiently. As a result, it's not quite as harsh on its outside tires when you're entering a corner. And turn-in is also improved a little bit as well because you have that wider track width up front. Like most Quattro vehicles with a longitudinally mounted engine, this car starts to break away around mid-corner with the front wheels beginning to lose a bit of traction. But the threshold for when that happens is quite high, so you have to be going very fast on the public road to actually reach that point. So how does the driving experience of this A4 compare to the old 5 Series which it replaced? Well, it's really a story of trade-offs. So the old 5 was an extremely comfortable car to drive, and the A4 is quite comfortable as well, although by comparison, it is a bit more stiffly sprung. The benefit to that, though, is that whenever you're driving this car closer to the limit, it holds things together a bit better. You can really drive this car hard and it's quite rewarding. Whereas the 5 Series was just a little bit too soft to push it that hard into corners. So it'd kind of roll around a little bit, it'd start understeering a bit on exit due to the way the xDrive system was set up and how the traction control would intervene, and the A4 really lets you have a bit more fun in that regard. In line with that are the controls. So, although the Audi is actually a little bit more fun to drive on the limit, the controls aren't quite as tactile feeling as that of the BMW. The steering doesn't give you as much feedback because this is an electric power steering setup, whereas the BMW was hydraulic, and the gear shift in the BMW had just a more satisfying action to it, whereas the Audi is just a little bit slicker. Now, that slickness in gear change, although it doesn't make it quite as fun necessarily whenever you're driving quickly, it does make it easier to use around town. Next is the engine. So, the BMW had that gorgeous 3-liter naturally aspirated inline 6-cylinder motor, which produced about 255 brake horsepower and 225 foot-pounds of torque. The Audi, on the other hand, is producing about 211 brake horsepower, but 258 foot-pounds of torque at around 1500 RPM. This means around town and coming out of corners, the Audi feels far quicker than the BMW ever did.
Needless to say, following an act such as the 5 Series, the A4 had big shoes to fill. However, despite being a departure from the BMW methodology, the Audi still accomplishes everything the 5 Series did, just with a redistribution of ability. I suppose that it just goes to show that the Bavarians really know how to make a car. Whether you choose one from Ingolstadt or Munich is up to you. Either way, you won't be disappointed.